Did Huayu make this? He could fight all puppets of the Confederacy sect in town on his own. How many means does he exactly have? What is the limit of his power? Looks like I underestimated him before. But he did the same thing here as in Yudu City. He always raises dust to attain his purpose. What about you? You always speak ill of me behind my back. Huayu? When did you come back? I just saw you going up. It's only a cover-up to prevent the Confederacy sect from using any tracking methods. You are cautious, but after what you did just now, you gained nothing but alerted the Confederacy sect in the end. That's not true. Although I didn't get into the treasury, this fight is worth it. The news about Princess Shilon Way's return has already spread throughout the Imperial City. I'm just a strong enemy for the Confederacy sect, but for the rebel leader, I am the remnant of the former dynasty. A princess of the former dynasty who can be a match for his strongest foreign aid. This is enough to give Tulanja a hard time. As long as he messes up, the informant you planted in the rebels will naturally come in handy. Huayu, did you think about these before taking action? Of course, or do you think I would take action recklessly without considering the consequences? It's better for us to operate when the Imperial City is in chaos than when we have our informants snooping around cautiously. Since the sneaky and quick way couldn't work, we will carry out the backup plan. There is one more thing to note. You overlooked one thing in your previous information. The power source stone is indeed rare, but it's not necessary to make such a commotion against those two millennial evil sections. I assume there are other hidden secrets. We should look into it separately. Maybe we'll find something unexpected about the Xilan Treasury. I didn't expect him to give the living corpse leech back to me before leaving. He said I should find an opportunity to sneak into the palace again to try to open the treasury, but in fact, he just wanted to stabilize me with this. He is overconfident. Does he not worry that I would work with the Confederacy sect and give him away? Yet I can't fall out with him for now. He knows so many secrets about me. I've also got something on him, but they are of no use before knowing his real identity. His strength is unfathomable, which makes him an excellent backer for me. It's a pity that I will become more passive if this keeps going on. I have to take the initiative. As for more valuable treasures in the Xilan Treasury, since he said that, I do have some interest. Currently, taking advantage of the turbulence induced by Huayu, the informant that I planted here is indeed more helpful. I will remove the Xinhua oath first, and then share the treasury with Huayu, or even. In any case, I have to make a good plan next. Master, this is the recent intelligence of the Xilan kingdom. That's to say, you are sure that bad woman doesn't dare to betray you, so you gave her the living corpse leech, right, Master? Exactly. After all, there will be no room for her in the Chongling sect if she falls out with me. I know how to remove her Xinhua oath, so she won't bother to work with the Confederacy sect. Moreover, the current Xilan kingdom has no longer been the one where she and Huayu came to seize the treasury with confidence. She is so cautious that she won't dare to act rashly. Master, you have been playing with it since just now? What is it? It's a piece of armor from that giant mechanic snake. It doesn't seem to be made of natural materials. The material seems to be the synthetic material made by the Confederacy sect, which makes the mechanic snake so hard that even the metal element of Path of Sword cannot break it. One piece of it is not enough, but after I figure out the proportion of its composition, I can synthesize this material myself and use it on Sky-Sealing Sword. By then, the strength of the Sky-Sealing Sword will go up a notch. The only inconvenient thing right now is that I can't keep an eye on Yenryu. Without knowing what she is doing behind my back, I always feel a little uneasy. It's all my fault, Master. You can still let me watch her. Never mind, I wasn't thoughtful before. You are innocent, and it's inevitable that she would play tricks with you. Maybe she intended to get back at you as she had suffered losses from me. Nevertheless, you are too naive. Why didn't you tell me you were being bullied? If you told me that Yenryu hit you, I would fly to your side to stand up for you. But Mei Ling is my friend, and it was me who proposed the duel in the beginning. Silly girl, Mei Ling has no wisdom and spirit at all. What she did was all under Yenryu's control. No, Master, she might look that way, but I can feel that she is not completely lifeless. At least during our duel, she was acting on her own will. The next morning. What the hell was going on last night? A woman claiming to be Shilon Way came into the city to cause trouble. How could a fugitive princess be so powerful? If you could get answers to the problems as long as you ask, I would suspect that you are not sitting on a throne but a bed. It's only been 6 hours since that woman left. What you saw is what we know. We should start to make solutions instead of wasting time and getting angry. Zhang Yi, Tulanja's counselor. You got it wrong, Mr. Yan. My master was not questioning anyone, but only anxious. Mr. Yan, you fought Shilon Way last night. You must have known something about her. Would you mind sharing the information? As I said, what you see is what we know. Last night, this so-called Shilon Way broke into the city with one sword, destroying the low-level puppets we placed in the city and damaging my puppet 9-headed snake. I have asked my disciples to repair the puppets and rearrange the defense. She is powerful, but judging from the fight last night, we can resist her with the advantage of the location of the Imperial City. At least it's not difficult for us to defend the city under her attack. What about the outside of the Imperial City? If she cooperates with the remnants of the royal family in Shilon City, the old royal family will definitely revive. That's not something we need to worry about. When the old forces counterattacked back then, you asked us to help you defeat them with the Xilan Treasury as a reward. This agreement ended after the battle and Iqua stopped. Now we're just waiting for the treasury to open to get our due reward. Only because the Xilan royal family has all gone, our sect has to use mechanic techniques to open the treasury, and meanwhile, we help you to guard the Imperial City. We don't have to leave the Imperial City before the treasury is opened, and we won't provoke her and make things more uncertain. I'm afraid she is no weaker than you. She will be a disaster if we allow her to wander around in the Shilon Kingdom. Besides, the Chilean sect is stationed in Shilon City, if Shilon Way and the Chilean sect form an alliance. By her action last night, she probably came for the Xilan Treasury. She ran away once I fought her. She seemed to worry about hurting the common people, but we both know the reason. The one who broke into the palace last night is undoubtedly a fake. She's incapable of opening the treasury. I think she just meant to bluff. She must aim at something else. Anyway, you're right, she appeared all of a sudden. We are not sure if she has something to do with the Chilean sect. But such a powerful person would never follow that old woman Huili's orders. She is more like a variable who has been secretly brought here by the Chilean sect to break down the situation. Back then, to avoid the escalation of the conflict, our two sects agreed not to send more men to the Shilon Kingdom, and the two sect leaders even hold each other back to prevent being involved. However, the Chilean sect is cunning. They would not sit back and allow things to develop in a way that is unfavorable to them. But from the point of the Chilean sect, they should hide her in the dark and let her out at the critical moment. It's impossible for them to allow her to make a commotion here to arouse our alert. Maybe she intentionally showed her value to us. You might as well send someone to negotiate with her and figure it out. As long as you can convince her or hold her back for a while, she will naturally leave the Shilon Kingdom after we get the treasury. That's it, you have to deal with these trifles soon and then come to Gate of the Sun to assist me in how to open the treasury. I got it, please wait 1 more hour. People from the evil sect think about nothing but the treasury. I shouldn't have given him the Real Gate of the Sun, if we secretly. Mind your words, master. Although people of the Keshwaksi sect are pragmatic and do not care about formalities, you should also be careful not to annoy these pre-celestial stage masters just because of what they said. I'm afraid that he would have not been nice to us if it weren't for your ability to crack the Gate of the Sun. What do you think of what Yan Shurgu just said? Will that fake Shilon Way leave once the treasury is opened? The Keshwaksi sect only cares about whether Shilon Way can open the treasury or not, so the key is to confirm if she is the real one. But for us, whether she is real or not, the identity of the princess of Shilon Kingdom will give the royal family a bigger chance to fight back. She is always a threat before we figure out her real identity and purpose. Don't worry, master, I have asked the shadow guards in the Imperial City to come into the palace at once. We have to do something about Shilon Way. I remember when I first came here with Gehuayu, the disturbance in the Imperial City was just put down, and I saw Tulanja control Queen Xie to stabilize the people. At that time, we were not strong enough to save her. So we only investigated it secretly. However, whether we snuck into the palace by the 5 elements shift or Gehuayu pried for information in the guise of a maid, we didn't manage to find the queen at all. We thought that the rebels hid the queen. Gehuayu was worried about alerting our enemies and refused to look into it as Shilon Way, so we had no choice but to return and find some other ways to lift the oath. I didn't expect the Shinmo oath to be so powerful that even the Shimo spirit could do nothing about it. After the 9 sects meeting, I gave up on seizing the treasury, but only prayed to lift the oath. Yet 2 more evil sects have been getting involved. Besides, Yu is eccentric and unpredictable. Things in the Shilon kingdom are getting more complicated. Tulanja ordered all the shadow guards to return to the palace, which is a good opportunity. I should wait and see first. Master, the current situation in the Shilon kingdom is as I reported last night. Now, what's our next plan? Easy, Tulanja must have a plan, as he urgently summoned you to the palace. Let's see what he will say first. As long as we take advantage of the current situation, it won't be hard to find Queen Xie and get her out. I will completely hide my aura. I'll remind you only when necessary. Be careful not to expose yourself. Got it. That's what happened. For now, we must focus on Shilon City, and the reason for summoning you here is to gather your power and try to get information from Shilon City. At least, you need to find out where that Shilon Way came from and what her purpose is. Master, you asked us to find out her background. But isn't she the long-lost princess of the former royal family? She's not. She can be anyone, but not Shilon Way, I'm sure of it. But we can't easily reveal her real identity, so one of your tasks in Shilon City this time is to find more tangible evidence, and then we can expose who she really is. That's strange. Yu told me that he did not meet Tulanja last night. How could Tulanja be so sure that Shilon Way is fake? Could it be that he has seen through Yu's disguise? Master, I think exposing Shilon Way's real identity is a solution, but it will make her our enemy as well. Even without this fake identity, she is still a master who even made Yan Shirgu cautious. If we destroy her plan, she may retaliate against us. According to Yan Shai, it seems that she doesn't work closely with the Chilean sect, and she has no feud with us. In my opinion, we should send shadow guards to approach her and reach a deal with her without alarming the Chilean sect. That makes sense, but will she negotiate with us since she has claimed to be Shilon Way? What should we do if the conditions she proposes far exceed our expectations? Master? Now comes the chance. Get ready and repeat what I say. Okay. Master, I have an idea for it. What you are concerned about is that we might not get a good result if we contact her rashly, as she is powerful and unpredictable, and Shilon City has gained the initiative before us. But if we send one person to contact her, gain her trust and induce her to believe us, it will make the later negotiation easier. Given that Shilon Way is a fake and doesn't work for the Chilean sect, she is mostly isolated in Shilon City. As a woman, no matter how strong she is, she must have 1 or 2 weaknesses. As long as we use the right way, her inner fortress will be breached. I happen to have a person who is good at this thing. Master, how long are we going to wait here? It took me 3 days to get here, so it will take me the same time to go back. But I'm too tired to fly. Let's just settle here for the time being. Meanwhile, I can analyze the information reported by Yenryu. We will go back to Shilon City when it is time. Master, why do you become cautious all of a sudden? Didn't we just break into the Imperial City and teach that big guy a lesson? I don't think the leading masters of the Keshwaksi sect or those of the Chilean sect are a match for you. I'm always cautious. I attacked the Imperial City directly because I wanted to catch the Keshwaksi sect off guard and take the treasure away. But the plan failed, which means we will probably be in the Shilon kingdom for 20 more days, so we have to think about what backup plans the 2 evil sects will make. Even if I'm confident to defeat any masters they have placed in the Shilon kingdom, it does not mean that I can fight the entire evil sections. They may send more people at any time to override my strength here. For now, I am not strong enough to fight the sect leaders of the 2 evil sects head-on. The reason why they haven't sent more people here is because they still regard each other as an enemy. Shilon Way is strong, but her weakness is too obvious. The people of the entire Shilon kingdom are her weakness. Such a master is the easiest to handle for the evil sects. If I am not Shilon Way anymore, they may change their stand and stick together to fight me, and the following things will inevitably get out of control. To prevent such a case from happening, I must collect information carefully and tactfully, and maintain my persona as Shilon Way. I see. So, do you have any new plans now? Not really. What I did in the Imperial City has consolidated Shilon Way's character of being bold yet thoughtless and impulsive. I believe that Shilon City will get the news soon. Huh, Master, do you mean the Chilean sect still has spies in the Imperial City? Weren't they driven out by the Keshwaksi sect a long time ago? Don't look down on the Chilean sect just because they back down easily in front of me. Regardless of the ranking of the 9 evil sects, a man at the 4th level of the pre-celestial stage from the Keshwaksi sect can resist my attack with the advantage of geography. How could the Chilean sect have no real skills as they have been fighting the Keshwaksi sect for so long? We can have a guess. How will the Grand Elder of the Chilean sect react after learning what happened in the Imperial City? 3 days later. The branch of Chilean sect in Shilon City. Oh, such an interesting thing happened in the Imperial City. Yanshugu's strength has improved a lot. He was not at the lower hand when fighting that little princess of the Wendao sect and even forced her to retreat. Seriously, apart from the Keshwaksi sect, we don't have to fear this little girl as long as you call for your initial bugs to fight. She gained nothing this time. It must be a humbling experience for her. I will surely teach her a good lesson if she turns to us. No, it's about time that she is back to the city lord's mansion. We can't mock her. Instead, we should take enough gifts to celebrate her triumphant return. At the same time, I will bring up our cooperation again. Why? Isn't it to erode our authority? Authority can only scare the weak. Bullying and fighting can help our sect reach the top. Our sect only cares about the treasury in the Shilon kingdom. Except for that, we can make a compromise on anything else. Now we just need to see what the princess will do. There is a saying, keep your guard up when other people are being nice to you. Grand Elder, you came to me as soon as I came back. I'm wondering what you are doing this for. You are overthinking, Your Highness. We did it sincerely. I was told that you destroyed Yanshugu's puppet 9-headed snake with one strike in the Imperial City. Everyone in the Keshwaksi sect was too scared to stop you. We weren't involved, but we felt we got even with them as well. That's why we particularly brought these pills and medicinal bugs as gifts for you. Please accept them. It rings a bell. You seem to be driven out of the Imperial City by the Keshwaksi sect back then. You have learned what happened right after I came back. You got the information so fast. To be honest, Your Highness, we were repelled from the Imperial City by the Keshwaksi sect, but there are still some informants of the Chilean sect there who can deliver news for us. They can deliver news, and naturally, they can do other things. You just want to remind me that only by working with your sect can I possibly not be threatened by the Keshwaksi sect, save my mother and take back the Imperial City. Your Highness, you are really smart. Fine, as you said, currently, the Keshwaksi sect and the rebels are my real enemies. As for you, as long as you work for me, I can let go of what bad things you have done before. Before they came here, I was thinking about how to bring up cooperation with them, but they offered to cooperate. Now I don't need to worry about disgracing Shilon Way. So do you agree to our conditions, Your Highness? Easy, it's fine to work with you, but you must make it clear, what exactly are you trying to take from the Xilan Treasury? Well, it's just one of the collections there. Why do you have to know about it? Anyway, you don't remember what's in it, right? I've inquired about it. Do you want the power source stone? It was useless for the Shilon kingdom before, but now I have a master who can create a large formation to protect the Imperial City, so I won't let you have it. Don't worry, Your Highness, although the power source stone is rare, we will never attempt to get it if you need it. We just want a small thing that is conducive to our technique cultivation. It is useless to your country and people and irrelevant to inheritance. It's conducive to the cultivation of the Chilean sect? I don't think so. If she was telling the truth, why has the Keshwaksi sect gotten involved? She is full of lies. However, she was not agitated when I said I want the power source stone, which is to say, the two evil sects have not been fighting for the power source stone. Although I am still confused, I should stop here. I might expose myself if I ask too many questions. They are the local leading roles, while I am just an amnesic princess from the outside and have gotten involved halfway. To avoid more masters of the Chilean sect coming here, I'd better do something to maintain Shilon Way's persona. Fine, I accept your conditions. However, before the treasury is opened, I have to do something to the rebels in the Imperial City. During this period, you have to fully work for me and help me save my mother. Sure, we helped the city lord to counterattack the rebels before, but we were stopped for some reason in the end. All right, stop saying high-sounding words. Since we've reached a deal, you can leave if there is nothing else. The city lord and I have something else to discuss. During the trip to the Imperial City, in addition to saving my mother, I observed the areas occupied by the rebels along the way. Although I have lost my memory, I could tell not all people are subordinate to the rule of the rebels. The Keshwaksi sect is our principal enemy, but in the long run, we have to find a way to break down the support for Tulanja. I want you to send messengers in my name to invite bigwigs from all over the country to meet me in Shilon City. You are right, Your Highness. If people can meet you in person, it will calm them down and stop rumors, so that many people who don't have a firm stand will be loyal to the royal family again. Well, unexpectedly, after going to the Imperial City, she has made long-term plans. I thought this princess would become impulsive and unpredictable because of memory loss. If she were too uncontrollable, she would become a threat to us at the last moment. If that happens, I'll ask our sect leader to come here in person even if the conflict escalates. Now, it seems that she is still concerned about the people of the Xilan kingdom. In the Imperial City, she must have held back from taking action for fear of hurting others. I thought she would break her words because she has the techniques of the Windao sect, but since she's so concerned about the country, I won't need to ask our sect leader for help. It's settled then. I will leave everything to you. Yes, Your Highness. Actually, after you came back, I already sent messages to many people, and now I just need to send more messengers out. In a few days, the envoys of the bigwigs from all over the country will arrive in Shilon City. Have you heard? The missing Princess Shilon Way has returned. I thought that the royal family all died in that war. Unexpectedly, Her Highness is still alive. It's a pity that it will be difficult to turn the tide even though she came back. Isn't it said that Her Highness showed lip in the palace a few days ago, and the rebels and the evil sects were too scared to get out? I don't think so. It must be a rumor from Shilon City. I remember that Her Highness was a well-known beauty. Young men in the Imperial City would be complacent for several days if they could manage to meet her once. But on second thought, Her Highness is pitiful. She needs to restore the country on her own. I'm afraid that she would feel lonely and helpless. After all, Her Highness is just a woman. No woman would like to bear a burden alone. That's right, she needs us now. If someone can win her trust and become an advisor to her, wiping out the rebels with the help of the Chilean sect in the future, maybe he can even get. We can't be left behind in this matter. We should send the best young men in our clan to Shilon City to pursue. No, to meet Her Highness. 2 days later. It's finally time to meet Her Highness. I heard that the city lord will hold a banquet tonight so that we can have the opportunity to dine with Her Highness. I've brought a lot of precious treasures to Her Highness. I am wondering if Her Highness would be happy about it. Master, that's what they said. I heard them. I said that I would like to meet with Xilan's subjects, but I didn't say to hold a blind date party. Most of the envoys who will come this time are young people from noble families. Your Highness, you should spend more time talking to them, maybe you will gain something. I shouldn't have left this matter to Xilan Che, I was careless. For me, the so-called meeting is only going through the motions, but for Xilan Che, it is a matter of the future of the country. It's no surprise that he made it so grand. Master, what should we do then? How about not going out? No, I have to go out. They are merely a group of pursuers with bad intentions. Although I am a woman now, I have handled many similar situations before. Want to court me? Let me see if they have the guts. It's strange, everyone is here, but why hasn't Her Highness come out yet? Her Highness must be doing her makeup. Today is the first time that the Xilan royal family has summoned the courtiers after years, and it is indeed worth dressing up. Frankly speaking, the Xilan royal family can only settle down in this small place. How can they restore the country without our strength? That's rude, but I think that Her Highness may be aware of it, otherwise she wouldn't hesitate and hasn't shown up yet. It's just that we've been waiting for too long. Oh, do you get impatient only after waiting for a while? Impatience is good, just like what I'm feeling now. I returned to my homeland after years of wandering, but what I saw are turmoils in this country. Is she, Her Highness Shilon Way? How come she is completely different from what I imagined? How terrifying. Who said that Her Highness is so weak and helpless that she needs strong support? But now it seems that Her Highness is the strongest one. It's too weird. Only one glance at her makes me tremble. What has Her Highness gone through in the past few years? You guys are here today, which means you are people with lofty ideals who care about the fate of the country and are loyal to the royal family. With your strength, the restoration of Xilan Kingdom will be around the corner. The loyal ones will be well treated by the royal family, but if any of you are in two minds and have evil intentions, I, Shilon Way, will definitely kill you with the sword in my hand. This meeting is not a chance for us to get to the top by taking advantage of Her Highness. Her Highness wants to test our loyalty through this meeting. Those who did not come here today may have been taken as rebels by Her Highness. We swear to be loyal to the royal family and Your Highness. We dare not have any improper thoughts. Hee hee. Great, these annoying people have been frightened. If I terrify them more, they will definitely obediently leave and dare not make a fuss again. It's not against Shilon Way's personality, and the Chilean sect will not doubt it either. I have known that you are loyal. Shilon Che will discuss with you what to do next, if there's nothing else. Your Highness. Restoring the country is a top priority, but it's not the only thing that you need to worry about. After eradicating the rebels, the Shilon kingdom needs to revive its former glory through the royal family. It can't be done by one person. Your Highness can use your sword to suppress and wipe out rebels and traitors but not govern the country, let alone revive your family and the country. If so, why should Your Highness bear everything on your shoulders alone? I volunteer to fulfill my duty of solving problems and sharing your burdens. Oh, that's interesting. Who's the speaker? Damn, unexpectedly, there's someone who still dares to cause me trouble at this moment. Humph? I'm the son of General Yudu of Mutu City. My name is Yuruyan. It's an honor to meet you, Your Highness. Yenryu? So, what the hell is going on here? Why didn't you collect information in the Imperial City but come here with this look? It's not like what you thought, Huayu. I came here because I've gotten important information and I can't wait to discuss it with you. I was thinking about telling you secretly after the meeting. Your Highness, the city lord asked you to go over for an emergency. Yet I didn't expect you to threaten those young men, which almost disrupted my plan. Fortunately, you reacted promptly and didn't let those nobodies step down early. Thanks to Qing'er's quick response, otherwise I would have been embarrassed at that time. Shilon Way isn't someone who would be convinced by words. After all, there are spies of the Chilean sect in the city lord's mansion. It may alarm them if I am not cautious. If that happens, it will take me a lot of effort to deal with it. So what makes you so urgent to come here that you didn't even inform me in advance? It is about the Keshwaksi sect. I found that they seem to try to open the treasury by force without the royal family. Moreover, judging from what their disciples said, they are probably about to succeed. Is it true? Yes, I verified it before leaving the Imperial City. It's not surprising as the Keshwaksi sect is very good at mechanic techniques. Indeed. Those two evil sects have been in Shilon for a long time. If they only pinned their hope on finding the royal bloodline, they wouldn't let so many masters fight each other for such a long time. There is indeed another way to get it done. More than that, the leaders of the rebels and the Keshwaksi sect seem to know that you are not the real Shilon Way, which is by no means a statement to boost morale. I think they are quite sure of it. How did they know? I don't know the exact reason, but it seems to be an unspoken fact for them. I heard that there are some peculiar things in the world that can be bound to people to monitor their vital signs. Perhaps the Shilon royal family got one. However, in my opinion, even if the news about Shilon Way is a fake spreads from the Imperial City, the Chilean sect probably won't believe it. After all, it's more likely a misleading saying by the rebels in order to compete for the legitimacy of rule. No, the real problem is that if they are convinced that I am not Shilon Way, they will unhesitatingly regard me as an opponent for the Xilan Treasury. Based on my previous performance in the palace, the Keshwaksi sect may send reinforcements to Shilon, and even its sect leader may come here in person. If that really happens, there will be too many strong masters in this game. Don't worry about that, Huayu. Whatever the Keshwaksi sect plans to do, they haven't seemed to put you and the Chilean sect together. He is quite narcissistic. I think they are terrified of you mostly because of the prestige of the Winao sect. The Keshwaksi sect is looking for an opportunity to negotiate with you. They want to seek cooperation and share the treasury with you. Moreover, according to my investigation, for unknown reasons, neither the Keshwaksi sect nor the Chilean sect seems to be able to send their sect leaders to Shilon. At least either side is willing to take the lead in breaking a deadlock. In this case, we can pretend to cooperate with the Keshwaksi sect to hold them back. During this period, we can sneak into the treasury from the Gate of the Moon. But before that, we have to figure out how the Keshwaksi sect's work is going. That's why I came here, Tulanja and the Keshwaksi sect both want to figure out the attitude of Shilon Way first, so they need someone to gain your trust. So, you plan to get close to me without arousing any suspicion, and then stabilize the Keshwaksi sect as a double agent? You can say that, if we get this mission done, I and the Shadow Guard who is under my control will both get promoted. By then, we may have a chance to figure out how the Keshwaksi sect cracks the gate of the sun, and then we can cause them trouble. And the plan is simple. My current identity is forged by the rebels, but for Tulanja, Urian is a lecher who has secretly learned the techniques of the Huanchi sect. He's been active in the Great Tang Kingdom and came to Xilan Kingdom recently. He's not talented at cultivation but was born with an extraordinary capability. He is good at taming women. Those women whom he flirted with are all loyal to and obsessed with him, among whom are pre-celestial stage masters in high positions. He actually existed but has long been killed by me. You said he was born with an extraordinary capability. Do you mean that capability? Exactly as what you think, as long as I take advantage of this opportunity, which is for envoys from all over the country to meet Princess Shilon Way, and successfully become the princess advisor, I can report to them that the mission is done. I was thinking about why you suddenly changed your look and dressed up as a man. Turns out you are here to court me. Generally, there is no problem with Yenryu's plan, but... What a stupid plan. Did you request this job? Since they mean to work with me, you can just inform me, and then we can get on the same page. After that, you can ask your Shadow Guard to tell them that I agree to cooperate. Why did you go through all this trouble to do it? Do you think I'm willing to do so? It was their idea to use a handsome man to approach the fake Shilon Way. They think it would be easier to build a close tie with you, and I just took the opportunity to do it. After all, you don't want a man to pester you all day, do you? And you would completely fall out with them if you killed the man. He is indeed so cautious that he could even see through such a small loophole. However, he could never figure out my true purpose. Fine, I'll do this with you, but how are you going to trick Shilon Way into sleeping with you? Do you have a script? Don't worry, everything is in place. We just need to put on a show for Tulanja's spies without exposing ourselves. Based on your previous performance, I've made a detailed plan to attract you. The improvisation I did during the meeting just now is enough to arouse your attention. And then I will pander to you. According to the information, Shilon Way loves poetry and songs. The poems I prepared for Sumin's literature and art event are of use now. After that, I will create an atmosphere for 5 or 6 days. That's too slow. You just need to take action according to your script at the banquet. I'll follow my own plan. Huh! At night. Dragon lanterns on the trees like 1,000 flames. Celebrations are going on in the Imperial Palace. Lotus-shaped lantern with a chicken on it symbolizes eternal spring. Wind and not come rain due to disturb these celebrations. The shadows of the lanterns overlap. Doors of the palace are open for every guest. The poem The Celebration in Xilan is dedicated to every one of you. My lord, what do you think of my poem? Can you give me some advice? This poem is rhetorical and extraordinary. It reminds me of the prosperous scene in the Xilan Kingdom during the Luz festival many years ago. It seems that our country still has some talented young men who are on par with those of the other kingdoms in terms of poetry. Mr. Yu, that's a very good poem and you are very talented. Filled his glass. It's him again. He has written many good poems tonight. It seems he will get the lead. He used sweet talk in front of the princess at the meeting before, and now he keeps us down with his talent. He's so annoying. Fortunately, I still have a few works, and I will use them to compete with him when Her Highness comes out. Mr. Yu has an outstanding literary talent. I remember Her Highness has been fond of poetry and songs since she was a child. I guess Her Highness will also like Mr. Yu's poem, which can bring back people's memories of the glory of the Xilan Kingdom. The banquet has been halfway through, and Her Highness hasn't shown up yet. She must have gotten tied up in business. Mr. Yu, I suggest that we make a copy of your poem and send it to Her Highness for appreciation. I'd love to do so if Her Highness really can't make it here tonight. It's just that there shouldn't be only one poem. I'm not the most talented and learned. It's my luck to be praised by his lord. But only a few poems of mine may not be attractive enough to Her Highness. All of you are talents in our country, and I believe you've already had your own works in mind. Why don't all of us present our best works to Her Highness, and let Her Highness evaluate them and choose the best one personally? I think it will be a great story going down in history. Good idea, Mr. Yu. You are indeed a man of integrity, like a reputable scholar. Her Highness must be impressed by you if she is here. Thank you, I'm flattered. Damn, I hate men like him the most. That's indeed a good idea, Mr. Yu. Her Highness told me before that she was worried that she might not have time for the banquet. Now the performance is over. If any of you have good poems that haven't been shown, don't hide them anymore, write them down, and we will present them to Her Highness. Well, I have some poems to present to Her Highness. Me too, give me the brush. I won't let that man be in the limelight. Very good, the poems that I asked Mr. Doji to write for me finally came in handy. The result has been written as long as Huayu and I work together, but to make sure the whole process is flawless, I need to figure out how to arouse people's spirits the most. To avoid the possibility that there may be some real geniuses showing their poems in public, Huayu needs to stay out of the banquet and show up when the banquet comes to an end. Now the prelude is done. Urian has indeed drawn everyone's attention. As long as Huayu selects my poem and then comes here to meet me, it will be reasonable for me to meet and pursue Her Highness later. Oh, I thought the banquet would be boring because of my absence. I didn't expect it to be so lively. What are you doing? Her Highness? Her Highness is finally here. Huayu? Why is he here now? These poems have not yet been presented to him. Your Highness, these people have an itch to write poems, and many of them are excellent. They are making a copy of their poems, and we are going to present the poems to you for appreciation. Now that Your Highness has got the business done, you can review their works here. Oh, these are indeed good poems, and some of them are particularly impressive, but it doesn't seem fair for one person to decide which poem is the best. Today's banquet is supposed to be a great joy for the whole country, where everyone can have fun regardless of rank. Appreciating poems is a tasteful activity, but it is not fun enough. Why don't we put this matter aside and play a game instead? Well, I'm wondering what game Your Highness is talking about. Composing poems is, after all, something with a threshold, and it's difficult to let everyone enjoy it. How about I present the first line of a couplet, and you answer the second line? As long as it's matched, even if the words fail to convey the meaning, it will be okay. Oh, that's quite interesting. Frankly speaking, I have no interest in poetry, but I know something about couplets. However, since Your Highness said it's a game, there must be prizes, right? Otherwise, winning or losing will be meaningless. That makes sense. All right, no matter who gives an appropriate answer, I will not only grant him wine but also share a drink with him. Ha, that's nice. I am afraid that everyone here has long wanted to have a drink with Your Highness. I see. It seems to be a method to speed things up. If Huayu uses the poems I prepared as topics, no one can compete with me. It's more justifiable than dedicating poems. Well, here I go. The first line is, to see a world in a grained sand, and a heaven in a wild flower. Huh! Huayu? It's not the poem I prepared. Be patient, this is just the first topic, just wait and see. To see a world in a grained sand, and a heaven in a wild flower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. I once read this famous poem due to my father's business with the great Song Kingdom. Good, you did it quickly. Grant him wine? Great, I'm not very talented at poetry, so it's hard for me to stand out when it comes to writing poems, but in terms of couplets, what I have learned is good enough. Besides, composing couplets is not like a competition in cultivation. Even pre-celestial stage masters only know the classics circulating in the literary world. To answer it once, even 10 times or 100 times, is nothing difficult. Your Highness, isn't this glass a bit too big? Is it? As a man of the Shilon Kingdom, you can't even drink that little glass of wine? I appreciate you after you answer that couplet, but I will be disappointed if you don't drink it. I can. Of course, I can drink it. I see. I've figured out Huayu's purpose. The first topic is from a famous work, the next one is a fragment that I got by chance. You will get a prize if you can give an antithetical phrase. However, it doesn't seem much fun drinking shot by shot, no matter how much we take. If any of you can drink me under the table, I will take him to my room tonight, talking and drinking until dawn. Talking and drinking until dawn? Does that mean? Huayu, if you do it this way, I don't think I can handle it with the poems I prepared. What's more, drinking is not my thing. Easy, I will tell you the answer secretly when I need you to be in. As for drinking, you are at the pre-celestial stage after all. You can't be weaker than these men at the post-celestial stage, right? 4 hours later. I'm done with this one too. How many drinks have I taken? I didn't count, but from a while ago. Except for the Grand Elder of the Chilean sect who has run away halfway, you are the only one left who still holds up and answers my lines, plus your bold speech when you had an audience with me before. I'm quite interested in you. It's an honor to be recognized by you, Your Highness, and to your question, you have taken 32 drinks plus the last one. Why you? I think it's time to stop. Many people have been drunk, and so am I. You should begin to show that you are getting drunk. Immortal dominating punches shield, alcohol immunity. Getting drunk? Why? I can keep on drinking. I've already figured out your plan, but if you are not drunk, how can I carry you back to your room for a reason? How will the following plot play out? No way, I like to play an active role. If that really happens, it will be me who carries you back to the room. No, you have completely altered my script. At least, the last part should be carried out according to the original plan. Looks like Mr. Yu is a heavy drinker. If so, I will present one more line for you. I'd love to play along if Your Highness is in the mood. Mr. Yu, are you all right? It seems that Mr. Yu got drunk in the end. Your Highness, let me take him back to his room to rest. No need for that. The banquet is over, we all had a good time. I'm going to send Mr. Yu to his room personally. Mr. Yu, happy time is fleeting, don't really get drunk, or I will be unhappy if you do not respond. Humph? Just this once, get out. If you dare to spy on me in the dark again, all agreements between us will be cancelled. This little princess is indeed irritable and not easy to get along with at all. However, not just men can have beauties, so I quite agree with her behavior. With this man involved, there will be one more way to hold her back in the future. There's no more movement. I suppose there are no spies of the Chilean sect watching on me anymore. All right, the show can be stopped now. All people would think Yuruyan is sleeping with Shilon Way. Next, we will just need to show that we are getting closer, and then our plan will be more than half done. Huh? Why you, didn't you say? Happy time is fleeting? Since we've come all this way, why don't we finish the last scene? Are you insane? There is no such a scene in the script. Besides, you and I are both in disguise. Even if we want to have sex, I am afraid it will be inconvenient. Not at all. We just need to take off our clothes and be naked to each other, and then things will happen naturally. Fine, you asked for it, I hope you won't regret it. She's asleep? You turned me on and then fell asleep. Seriously? Is she pretending to be drunk? I don't believe a pre-celestial stage master is a lightweight. The bed reeks of alcohol. I'd better find another. Don't leave me. Dad, Mom. Don't leave me alone. 3 days later. Are the rumors true? Was really someone selected to be an advisor by Her Highness when the bigwigs from all over the country had an audience with Her Highness some time ago? I heard it too. My cousin works as a maid in the city lord's mansion. She told me that she saw it with her own eyes. It is said that Her Highness carried that man into her room after the banquet, and they came out at noon the next day. It's said that they have fallen in love since then. Mr. Yu went to the city lord's mansion to play the zither for Her Highness every day. The music was melodious and very attractive. I was also told that they met on the dune outside the city every night recently. Her Highness would perform a sword dance in the moonlight for Mr. Yu. Some passing caravans saw that scene by chance and regarded them as celestial beings down from heaven. The Shilon royal family was almost dead during the civil strife. Now Her Highness has finally returned and met her Mr. Right in a short time. It seems that our country is blessed. But the civil strife has not yet settled. If Her Highness dwells on pleasure with that man, isn't it too? Humph, you are so ignorant. Mr. Yu is the son of General Yudu of Muta City. The general has large numbers of troops and has been protecting the country and the people in civil strife. He is a force that both we and the rebels are trying to win over. If Her Highness can marry Mr. Yu and form an alliance with General Yudu, it will be just around the corner to get the Imperial City back after the truce becomes due. Moreover. What's going on? This is Her Highness and Mr. Yu are going out together again. I finally see them with my own eyes. They are really cut out for each other. With this man alone, Her Highness looks more gorgeous than before. When it comes to birth and status, Mr. Yu is worthy of Her Highness, plus his good looks. I'm really envious of him. I suppose the news will spread throughout the Xilan kingdom soon. Look, Your Highness, sand flows in the wind, it's like waves in the ocean, what a beautiful view! How about we play with the water in the oasis ahead later? Play with the water? Are you out of your mind? Stop acting since there are only the two of us here. Get your hands off me. Oh, I am just used to it. Why you are too mean. It's not your real body, and you will lose nothing if I hug you. Cut it out, I've always been the one who made a pass at others. If it weren't for the big picture, I wouldn't play with you in public. The show we have put on in the past few days should be convincing. Do Tulanja and the others believe what you have done? Thanks to your help, now all people in the Imperial City have known the relationship between Xie Yan and Shilon Way. Tulanja's spies in Imperial City also have got the news. I met with the Shadow Guard yesterday. I was told that Tulanja and the others did not doubt Xie Yan has successfully approached Shilon Way, and now the spies are on their way back to the Imperial City with the latest news. I believe it won't be long before Tulanja sends someone to meet you. When that time comes, as long as we work together, the rebels will put me in an important position after the success. This woman had no other responses after mumbling in her dream that night. I don't know what she was up to. Did she show her weakness to me on purpose? Or did she have other motives? Anyway, I'd better keep an eye on her. This matter is related to whether the Keshwaksi sect can be held off, so be careful when taking action. It is best if you can solve it, but if not, send back the message in time. At worst, I will attack the Imperial City again to create an opportunity for you. Got it. Even if it's not for this matter, I still need to count on you to save the Queen after she is found. But then again, I've sorted out the information we have collected since we arrived here. The movements of the two evil sects were under our expectations, and our plan has been smoothly carried out in secret. But don't you think that the current situation is too well balanced? You mean? Your Highness! Someone from Iqua sent this letter, saying that it was an invitation to Your Highness. The city lord has read it and asked me to tell Your Highness that you need to be fully prepared for the appointment. That's what happened in Xilan Kingdom recently. I've cooperated with Shilon Way, and my previous plan is progressing smoothly. When the Gate of the Moon opens again, we will definitely get what we want. According to the intelligence we got from the Imperial City, Keshwaksi sect is hindered, and they would fall behind us. Interesting. I didn't expect that the disciple of the Wendao sect of this generation would be the princess of the Xilan Kingdom. According to your description, I want to meet with her in person. But we've made a deal. Since the situation is under your control, I won't disturb your plan. Remember, although you have a good plan, you have to prevent yourself from being involved in it. Retreat when it's necessary. As long as you get the most important thing, nothing else matters. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Normally, Shilon Way will see an empty treasury, and Keshwaksi sect will be the scapegoat. Even in the worst case, I have a backup plan. No matter how powerful Shilon Way is, she is alone. I have countless ways to deal with her. As for Yan Shirgu, I have known him for so many years and figured out a way to handle him. Mr. Yan, nearly 90% of the seals of Gate of the Sun have been cracked, and the rest can be done in less than half a month. The Gate of the Moon will open in 19 days at the earliest. It seems that we've been ahead of the Chilean sect. Good, just stick to the plan, but remember to announce to the public that our progress is crossed. Don't let anyone know the truth, including the other elders of our sect. By the way, have you sent someone to contact that fake Shilon Way in Imperial City? Well, a shadow guard went to do it as planned. I think we'll get the news in a few days. If the Chilean sect is deceived by our fake news, the Keshwaksi sect can rest assured. But if they notice it during this period, the only thing we need to be vigilant about is that the Chilean sect and the fake Shilon Way may combine against us. To avoid this, I have to find an opportunity to talk to that fake Shilon Way. Mr. Yan. A letter from Iqua. I heard that Princess Shilon Way received the same letter. I heard that after Princess Shilon Way came back, the whole country was excited and made active preparations for war. To avoid killing, I hope to discuss it with the two sects. Does that mean I have to go to Iqua in person? Besides me and Yan Shirgu, even the princess is invited? It's signed off with Zhou Yenping, Peace Cottage? 3 days later. Who is Zhou Yenping? Why do I have to meet him? Your Highness, Mr. Zhou is the savior of our country. Half a year ago, I led an army to fight the rebels in Iqua. Although the Chilean sect helped us, we still couldn't defeat the gears of the Keshwaksi sect. When we were about to fail, a scholar controlled all the puppets of the Keshwaksi sect on his own, and the enemy was intimidated and dared not take a step forward. Due to his interference, we stopped fighting, and the two sects sent envoys to contact him. Only then did we know his identity. He is a level 4 pre-celestial stage Confucian scholar from the Ming Empire. When he went out on a trip, he happened to pass by the Shilon kingdom and saw the war between two cultivation sections. According to Mr. Zhou, if pre-celestial stage masters participated in the war of ordinary people, it would cause great harm, and the Ming Empire also had strict restrictions on the cultivators, so he intervened, hoping to eliminate the conflict between the two sects and stop the war. Mr. Zhou persuaded all the pre-celestial stage masters present not to participate in the battle. Tulanja and I had scruples about each other, so we withdrew our troops. Then Mr. Zhou built a thatched cottage in the center of the battlefield to express his stand of stopping the war. Not long after that, it is said that the leader of the Keshwaksi sect and the leader of the Chilean sect went to the thatched cottage together. They talked with Mr. Zhou for a whole day and finally reached an agreement. The Keshwaksi sect and the Chilean sect have been separated by Iqua. They can open the Xilan Treasury by their own abilities, and neither of them should fight or hurt the people of the Xilan kingdom. This is how the Xilan kingdom has been in the current delicate balance. I didn't expect that there would be such a powerful man getting involved in this chaotic game. He could even make the leaders of the two sects come to see him in person and stop fighting with each other. Apart from interests and schemes, this man is quite capable. It was a big event, but Yenryu just mentioned it simply in the intelligence. Don't look at me like that. I got intelligence from the Shadow Guard who's on my side now. She doesn't know much about the cultivation sects. It's the first time I've heard about the inside story of the truce in Iqua. I think Tulanja had no choice but to accept the truce because of the Keshwaksi sect's arbitrariness. It was not good for the morale of the rebels, so he obscured the truth from the public. Forget it, it's meaningless to talk about this now. Take things as they come. Let's see what Mr. Zhou will say. Speaking of which, I'm confused about one thing. Since Mr. Zhou has stopped the war, why does he still live in the peace cottage? It is surrounded by wastelands. I think it will be inconvenient for him to live here. Scholars from the Ming Empire have various odd habits. Your Highness, you'll get used to it after dealing with them more. However, Tulanja has been providing supplies for this place, and the city lord has also sent some maids to serve Mr. Zhou. Mr. Zhou is not pedantic. He accepted all the gifts from the two sections. The Chilean sect doesn't seem to be on guard against Mr. Zhou in secret. Instead, they respect him. Interesting. This noise? I've noticed it before, now it's finally coming out. Everyone, be careful, something is coming out of the ground. Yanshigu, you make a big noise every time you show up, aren't you afraid of disturbing Mr. Zhou? As a great scholar, Mr. Zhou can talk and laugh naturally while facing thousands of soldiers. How come I would disturb him? I haven't gotten even with you for what you have done before. You can't open the gate of the moon, but you put on a show around my spy puppets. Since you have arranged puppets in the desert to prevent us from sabotaging, I can only use some disinformation to make you exhausted. You mistakenly thought that we had opened the gate of the moon and came to take a share. How pathetic you are. They are supposed to fight against each other, but judging from their conversation, they are acquaintances. The Keshwaksi sect is on good terms with the Chilean sect, so it's not strange that they have a relationship. But after seeing the two disciples who died together in the Shimo Dark Tunnel, I thought the Keshwaksi sect and the Chilean sect would never stop fighting each other. Now it seems that the vice leaders of the two sects haven't come to this. But neither of them is willing to give up on something in the Xilan Treasury. If I can know what it is, I will have a way to take the initiative in this game. My guests, why are you standing outside? Please come in, the tea is ready. He's the scholar who stopped the civil war in Xilan Kingdom. Zhou Yenping? I invited you hastily, but you all came. Peace Cottage is honored by your presence. Please have a clip of tea, everyone. This is the green tea from the southwest of the Ming Empire. It has a special taste after being brewed with Xilan spring water. Mr. Zhou, you are being too humble. Peace Cottage is small, but you, the Assistant Minister of the Ministry of Rights of the Ming Empire, are here. How can we not come? You have reached the 4th level of the pre-celestial stage at such a young age, and you are also one of the 7 Confucian talents. Even my sect leader was happy to make friends with you, and he praised your tea a lot. When I went on a trip a few years ago, I resigned and had no official title. And I haven't improved my cultivation base for a long time. But you too have reached the 4th level of the pre-celestial stage within half a year, and your auras are stable. I can hardly tell that you have just been promoted. Mr. Zhou, you're flattering us. It's the cultivation age, and we've benefited from it. In addition, the 9 sects meeting has just ended, and we got our opportunities. By contrast, you have gained more Yan Shai. I heard that as soon as you were promoted, you got the puppet 9-headed snake, one of the secret treasures of the Xie sect. Now I'm far inferior to you. Stop being jealous. I don't think Mr. Zhou invited us here just for tea or chit-chat. Let's get straight to the point. You are as straightforward as ever, Yan Shirgu. But you seem to be implying that Mr. Zhou is wasting our time. Don't you think you're being impolite? Don't try to sow dissension between me and Mr. Zhou. Do you think you can influence Mr. Zhou with a few words? As for being impolite, I don't think I'm the impolite one here. What's wrong? I just asked my servant to give me a massage. Does it bother you? I have no right to judge. Mr. Zhou invited us here to talk about something that will affect the situation of Xilon Kingdom. You not only brought some irrelevant people here but also behaved like this. Your Highness, it seems you don't take this meeting seriously. There's something you don't know, Yan Shirgu. Regardless of the other entourages, this handsome young man is very important to Her Highness. Her Highness can't leave him for even a second. You have dealt with puppets for a lifetime, so naturally, you won't understand the tender affection between men and women. Besides, even though you are always sharp-tongued and brainless, you should be polite to the disciple of the Wenao sect. Aren't you afraid of causing trouble to your sect? Grand Elder, mind your words. It's just a mysterious sect that looks like the Wenao sect. You guys don't have to stand eyeball to eyeball. What we are going to talk about today is important, but it's not a secret. As for Her Highness, she's of the royal family, so it's reasonable for her to bring some servants. For my sake, please put aside your prejudices. I will, Mr. Zhou. Humph, Mr. Zhou, if it weren't for your invitation, I would never calmly stay in the same room with this woman. Interesting. Judging from their conversation, Zhou Yenping means a lot to the 2 sections. At least, he is more important than me, the disciple of the Wenao sect who suddenly showed up. And this man gives me a very strange feeling. I always feel that something is wrong. Hey, do you think Zhou Yenping is weird? Weird? Huayu, are you jealous of him because of his elegance and handsome face? Stop it, you. We should also show some respect to Mr. Zhou. Speaking of which, it's the first time I've seen you in person, Your Highness. I heard that not long ago, your swordplay shocked the city and caused quite a stir. Now I can see you are surrounded by sharp sword energy. It seems that you have had many adventures during your years away from Xilon Kingdom. But what's rare is that you stopped your attacks at the last moment of the battle in the Imperial City, so that all the people in the city were not affected by the battle between the pre-celestial stage masters. It's a blessing to them, and you, Your Highness. Mr. Zhou, you seem to have some unspoken meaning. I didn't mean anything else, but I'm curious. I heard that since you came back from the Imperial City, you have been meeting bigwigs from all over the country in Xilio City. What's your plan, Your Highness? You knew the answer, Mr. Zhou. Now that I'm back, I would gather my old courtiers to counterattack the rebels and revive the Xilon Kingdom. I have warned the Xie sect to get out of the Imperial City as soon as possible. If they are smart enough and do what I said, I can send them away from Xilon Kingdom with dignity. But if they refuse, I won't show mercy to them when I lead the army to the Imperial City. Your Highness, have you ever thought about what would happen when you lead the army to the Imperial City? What would happen? Tulanja would stop me vainly, like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. What else can they do? Of course, Tulanja is no match for you, but the sects share a common lot. Once Tulanja fails and the Xie sect can hold the Imperial City on its own, I believe Mr. Yan would not stand by. So what? Do you think I'm afraid of him? Since you dare to break into the Imperial City alone, you're definitely not afraid of him. But what will happen next? If Mr. Yan can't fight against you, the Xie sect will send more powerful reinforcements. In this way, the Chilean sect will also send more masters here. In the battle among pre-celestial stage masters, your power would sweep the whole area. If ordinary soldiers participated in the battle, how many casualties would be caused? You seem to be implying that all soldiers would be killed because of my counterattack. Am I supposed to watch the rebels harming my country without doing anything? That's ridiculous. I didn't mean that. The chaos in the Shilon Kingdom is just internal strife. Your Highness, as the Princess of the Shilon Kingdom, you have the right to do anything, but the two sects came for the Xilan Treasury, and they have formed an even situation. If you rashly break the balance, it will cause more harm to the people in Shilon Kingdom. I just want to remind you not to be too hasty when something happens, but to deal with it in a slow and deliberate way. Back then, the two sects made an agreement here. They've taken the Ikwa as the boundary and competed fairly with each other for the Shilon Treasury. After either of them obtains it, they should both unconditionally withdraw from the Shilon Kingdom. This agreement is still valid, isn't it? Yep. Agreed. Once the winner is decided and the two sects leave according to the agreement, the situation in the Shilon Kingdom will no longer be complicated. With your cultivation base, you can easily suppress the rebels without worries behind. What do you think, Your Highness? What he said makes sense. It seems that I misjudged him. Wait. How can I think what he said is reasonable? Nonsense, there is something wrong with him. Humph, what was I thinking? Yeah, I was thinking that what Yenping said is exactly what I want. And I misjudged him. I'm just pretending to take back the lost land. Since I'm impersonating Shilon Way now, I have to maintain her public image. Winner? I can't stop the two sects from entering my country and fighting for Xilan Treasury, but I have to watch them take away my treasures before I can settle down the domestic chaos. How unreasonable. There's no right or wrong, it's just making a choice. Just as I said, if you just want justice, you can't stop the war. If you are powerful enough, you can defeat the enemy without hurting the people. If the two sects are powerful enough, they can ignore any objection and monopolize the Shilon Treasury. But there's no if, and the Shilon Kingdom is in such a situation today. Since we are involved, we shouldn't solve it with the principle of being an outsider. For the people of Shilon Kingdom, please drink a toast and make an agreement. Before the opening of the Shilon Treasury, keep the truce and stop fighting each other. What about the agreement between Tulanja and the Keshwaksi sect? The contract between Tulanja and us has ended. As long as the owner of the Shilon Treasury is decided, the Keshwaksi sect will leave the Imperial City and will not be your enemy for the rebels. To show my sincerity, I can also make a promise. After the Shilon Treasury is opened, the Keshwaksi sect will only take one treasure and return the rest of the treasures to you. Okay. For the people of Shilon Kingdom, I agree to the truce. Yenping is such a good man, he's saved me some trouble of maintaining Shilon Way's public image. What a perfect solution. Hee hee. Since Her Highness has concluded the truce, you too can rest assured. Your Highness, I'm glad you agreed to it. Back then, Mr. Zhou came to the Shilon Kingdom and stopped the war. Now Your Highness returned to your homeland. I believe there will be no more riots in the Shilon Kingdom. By the way, Mr. Zhou, you just said since we are involved, we shouldn't solve it with the principle of being an outsider. Is it the knowledge of Confucianism and the Ming Empire? As far as I know, Mr. Zhou's teacher was Yixingzi, a great Confucian scholar. After graduating, Mr. Zhou traveled all over the world to preach the idea of ending wars. I suppose he may have learned this from years of travel. Oh? If so, I really want to learn about it. I can't say it's the knowledge of Confucianism, it's just a lesson I've learned after traveling to various countries to cultivate, preach and mediate in conflicts. It's just about making a choice. Whenever and wherever conflict breaks out, death is inevitable. I always want to persuade people through reasoning, but sometimes the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Abandon one person and save 10 people, abandon 10 people and save 100 people, abandon 100 people and save 1,000 people. When there's no more person to be abandoned, I have to make a choice. And I always choose to let more people live. That's why I tried to stop the war in Ikwa before, and that's why I tried to persuade Your Highness today. I see. You deserve your reputation, Mr. Zhou. You are selfless and righteous, just like the saint. Saint? She's really good at flattering people. Confucian scholars, there are only a few Confucian scholars of the Han Empire. I don't know much about these people. And I didn't get some origin points from Yenping. But judging from his behaviors, he does look like a pacifist. Why can you see through his bad intentions? Bad intentions, you have a preconceived idea about him. It's said that Confucian scholars of the Ming Empire like traveling around the world to help other countries. It's not surprising that Zhou Yenping tries to stop the war in Shilon Kingdom. I don't really think he has some bad intentions, I just don't like this hypocrite. Making a choice? He'll never be the abandoned one, so he can talk big and harangue people. Then what's your choice? I will never waste my time making any choices. I don't care if others live or die. I only care about my fellows. I believe you have the same idea, don't you? Fellows? I think she only cares about herself, but it's not surprising that she has this thought judging from her character. Since we're talking about this topic, what's your idea, Your Highness? You want to know my understanding of how to make a choice? Yet Your Highness learned from one. I mean, a mysterious sword sect. You must have a different understanding of this than ordinary people. We have plenty of time. How about sharing your idea with us, Your Highness? Well, Mr. Zhou has given a wonderful speech. I have nothing to add. My only wish is that my people can live a secure and happy life. It's just a trolley problem, but I'd better give them an answer in Shilon Way's way. Your Highness, not only will you have to make a choice about this matter, but you'll have to make countless choices in the future. You are short-sighted if you only focus on the current situation. Oh? Then what's your idea? About life and death, I have the same idea as Mr. Zhou. I would abandon a minority of people if majority of people could be saved in this way. But we'll make all kinds of choices, not just about human life, and Shilon Kingdom may get into other trouble in the future. If Your Highness really cares about the people, you have to decide early, abandon your weak fellows and find a more powerful backup for your country. Yan Shigu is hinting at me. He wants me to offer to cooperate with Keshwaxi sect, but his words are brutally frank. You're wrong, Yan Shigu. Shilon is just a small country. If it has a powerful backup, Her Highness' ability will be stifled even though she's very powerful. I believe Her Highness won't make such a wrong choice. I just agreed to a truce, but it makes them feel that Shilon Way is under their control. Although I'm happy to see them arguing, I don't like being looked down on. There is no right or wrong choice. Her Highness just came back. It's normal for her to only focus on things in the Shilon Kingdom. You're right, Mr. Zhou. But Her Highness is soft-hearted. I'm afraid she won't abandon a minority of people when she encounters a dilemma. Because she's soft-hearted, she'll be manipulated by me at the last gasp even though she's powerful. Grand Elder, when did you become my spokesperson? Do you really know what I'm thinking? The reason why I didn't give a direct answer is because what you were talking about is just an armchair critic. 100,000. These are just numbers. It's said that the cultivation path is ruthless and the saint is selfless, but I'm not the saint and also not ruthless. When you stand in front of those people, can you choose to abandon them without any hesitation? At least I can't. You were right about one thing, I indeed won't give up anyone, but it's not because I'm soft-hearted. If I have to make a choice and sacrifice some people, I'll fight with them till the end, rather than send them to their deaths and hide in the rear. It would be best to save everyone. If not, I will save as many people as I can. And I choose to believe in myself and my sword. Your Highness, you are obfuscating the concept. What you said, it's not a dilemma. Besides, force cannot solve all problems. But I can tell you really love the country and the people. I believe you'll be a good queen. It doesn't sound like an improvised speech. Is it what he really thinks? It seems that my judgment was correct. The matter has been settled. We have something else to do in Xie City. We'll leave first. Mr. Yu, I'll go with Her Highness. You can leave first. Good. When we get back to Xie City, I'll invite you to our sect. I want to get to know you. I'm just a nobody. I'll come to a visit in person if I get Her Highness' permission. See you, Grand Elder. Are we just leaving? Yan Shai left without hesitation. Did you notice that? Shilon Way has cooperated with us. Normally, he should be anxious about it. But judging from his attitude, it seems that their progress of cracking the gate of the sun is faster than we thought. Even though we have the key, they are not worried that we may open the gate first. So we don't have much time. We have to go back to Xie City as quickly as possible and make a new plan. This meeting is out of the plan, but it has sped things up. The two sects have given up the rebels. As long as we make good use of this information, the Imperial City will be in chaos, and then we can take the opportunity to save the Queen. But Zhou Yenping asked Huayu to stay after the meeting. What is he going to say to Huayu? Confucian cultivation methods are unfathomable. I can't eavesdrop on them. I can only wait for Huayu to come out.